Racist cop handcuffs black dad on vacation. What he didn't know makes the news nationwide. The park was alive with laughter, but in one shattering moment, it turned to silence. Marcus Johnson, a black father on a family vacation, felt the cold steel of handcuffs snap around his wrists as his children's screams pierced the air. It was supposed to be a perfect day. Marcus, his wife Lena, and their two kids, Amara and Jaden, had driven from Chicago to the quaint town of Willow Creek for a weekend getaway. The kids had begged for a picnic, and Marcus, ever the doting dad, packed their favorite sandwiches and set up under a sprawling oak tree. The sun was high, the breeze gentle, and Amara's giggles as she chased Jaden around the playground felt like the soundtrack to a dream. But dreams can break in an instant. Officer Daniel Holt, a local cop with a reputation for keeping order, had been watching from his patrol car. To him, Marcus didn't belong in this quiet, mostly white town. A black man in a pressed polo, laughing with his family, somehow looked suspicious. Holt approached, his hand resting on his holster, his voice sharp. "Sir, I need to see some ID. Now." Marcus froze, his smile fading. He'd heard this tone before on city streets, in late-night traffic stops, but never in a park with his kids watching. "Officer, we're just having a picnic," he said, calm but firm, raising his hand slightly. Lena stepped forward, her voice trembling. "He's my husband. We're on vacation." Holt's eyes narrowed. "Step back, ma'am. This doesn't concern you." The situation spiraled. Holt demanded Marcus stand, claiming a report of suspicious behavior. There was no report. Marcus complied, but his question, "What did I do?" was met with a shove and a barked order to turn around. Before he could process it, Holt yanked his arms behind his back, the cuffs clicking shut. Amara screamed, "Daddy," as Jaden clung to Lena, sobbing. The park was no longer a haven. Onlookers gathered, some whispering, others pulling out phones. A white woman in a sundress shouted, "This is wrong." But Holt ignored her, his focus locked on Marcus. "You're resisting," he growled, though Marcus stood still, his jaw tight, his eyes burning with a mix of anger and humiliation. Lena pleaded, "He's done nothing. He's a teacher, for God's sake." What Holt didn't know, what he couldn't have known, was that Marcus wasn't just any teacher. He was Marcus Johnson, a high school history teacher whose viral TED Talk on systemic racism had inspired thousands. His words, "We don't need heroes, we need humanity," had echoed across social media, earning him a following. And one of the onlookers, a college student named Sarah, recognized him. She was already live streaming. Sarah's video spread like wildfire. By the time Holt shoved Marcus toward the patrol car, the footage was trending nationwide. The hashtag Justice for Marcus exploded, and news outlets picked up the story. "Racist cop handcuffs black dad on vacation" became a headline that shook the country. The video showed it all: Marcus's calm compliance, Holt's unprovoked aggression, and the handwritten park sign Sarah zoomed in on, scrawled in marker. "Racism exposed in 1 ACT." Back at the station, Holt was smug, unaware of the storm brewing online. Marcus sat in a holding cell, his mind racing not with fear, but with resolve. He thought of his kids, of the lesson this moment would teach them. He thought of his students, who'd watched his TED Talk and asked, "How do we fight this?" Now, he was living the answer. Lena, meanwhile, was a force. She called their lawyer, rallied the crowd, and spoke to reporters who arrived within hours. "This isn't just about my husband," she said, her voice steady despite her tears. "This is about every black family who can't even picnic without fear." By evening, the story was everywhere. Protests formed outside the Willow Creek police station. Holt's name and badge number trended alongside Marcus's. The mayor, scrambling to contain the fallout, issued a public apology. Holt was suspended pending investigation, but the damage was done. Marcus was released, greeted by Lena's fierce embrace and his kids' tearful hugs. The next morning, Marcus spoke at a press conference, his voice steady but heavy. "I didn't want this to be my family's story," he said. "But if it wakes people up, if it makes one person question their bias, then it's worth it." He paused, looking at Amara and Jaden in the crowd. "I want my kids to know they're enough, no matter what anyone says." The incident changed Willow Creek. Community forums sprang up, led by locals inspired by Marcus's grace. Sarah's video became a catalyst, sparking conversations about race in small towns across America. Marcus returned to teaching, But his story lingered, a reminder that one moment of injustice could ignite a movement. In the end, it wasn't just about a cop's mistake or a family's pain. It was about a nation forced to look in the mirror. Marcus's handcuffs weren't just metal, they were a symbol of a fight far from over. And as his words from the TED Talk echoed online, they carried new weight. Humanity starts with seeing each other. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.